When my son Jeff graduated high school in 2009, I took him to the beaches of Normandy, France. How many of you know what happened at Omaha Beach on June 6, 1944? Our U.S. Army Rangers hit the beach, and the first wave sustained nearly 90% casualties. And here's why. Number one, the tides were wrong. Our guys were told they were going to be dropped into water that was maybe 10 to 15 feet deep at the most. In some cases, it was 30 feet deep, and the guys that were carrying packs weighing 100 pounds went straight to the bottom and drowned before they even got a shot off. Those that didn't drown had another problem. They now had to ditch their packs and run across the beach with no weapons while they're being fired at from in front and the sides. Now you understand the carnage that you see in the first 40 minutes of a movie like Saving Private Ryan. And as I took Jeff to Omaha Beach, we waded out into the surf. We were with a tour guide there, a group of French tourists, amazingly. And as we waded out into the surf, Jeff said, let's walk back toward the beach the way our guys would have and experience what that must have been like. And as we were standing there, I was overcome with the emotion of it, and so was Jeff. And I remember the French tour guide yelling at us in French, come on, you're holding up the whole group. I'm like, hey, babe, we saved your butts in this war. We're going to stay right here, and we're going to enjoy a father-son moment. Thank you very much. But as we were walking back toward the beach, I couldn't help but be struck by the realization of what it would have been like to be under fire with no weapons with which to engage. And men and women, today I want to talk to you about this topic. How do we equip ourselves to engage on the pro-life issue on hostile turf? Because let me explain to you what's about to happen to many of you. You're going to leave your schools or home schools where you've been taught respect for the Word of God. You're going to leave your church youth groups where a youth pastor has instructed you patiently in the things of God. And that landing craft gate is going to open up on that beach known as the secular university. And you're going to hit that beach, and many of you are going to feel at that moment that you are outgunned and in way over your head on an issue like abortion. Because who's waiting for you on that beach? Let me give you some ideas of who's waiting for you on that beach. Dr. David Boonin teaches philosophy at the University of Colorado at Boulder, and he's written a book called A Defense of Abortion that is, without question, in my view, the best defense of abortion you will ever read. It's very persuasive. I don't think it succeeds ultimately, but make no mistake that it's a persuasive defense. And I want to read to you what he writes in his introduction about the topic of abortion. Here's what he writes. On my desk in my office, where most of this book was written, meaning his book, A Defense of Abortion, on my desk where most of this book was written, there are several pictures of my son Eli. In one, he is gleefully dancing along the sand in the Gulf of Mexico, the cool ocean breeze wreaking havoc with his wispy hair. In a second, he is tentatively seated in the grass in his grandparents' backyard, still working to master the feat of sitting up on his own. In a third, he is only a few weeks old, clinging firmly to the arms that are holding him, and still wearing the tiny hat for preserving body heat that he wore home from the hospital. Through all of these remarkable changes that these pictures preserve, he remains unmistakably the same little boy. Now, I want you to listen very carefully to what he says next. He says, in the top drawer of my desk, I keep another picture of Eli. This picture was taken 24 weeks before he was born. The sonogram image is murky, but it reveals clearly enough a small head tilted back and an arm raised up and bent with a hand pointing backward and the face and the thumb, or painted, let me back up and say that again. The picture depicts clearly enough a small head tilted back slightly and an arm raised up and bent with a hand pointing back toward the face and the thumb extended out toward the mouth. There is no doubt in my mind that this picture too shows the same little boy at a very early stage in his physical development. And there is no question that the position I defend in this book entails that it would have been morally permissible to end his life at this point. Did you catch what Boonin just said? He bites the bullet. He says, I agree with pro-lifers that my son Eli at 24 weeks before birth is the same little boy then as he is today. and I'll kill him back then. And Boonin goes on to tell him why. He'll do it, or at least say it's permissible to do it, because Eli, as we learn later in his book, lacked organized cortical brain function, meaning his brain was not developed enough to where he would be able to have a desire to go on living. And until you have a desire to go on living, you do not have a right to life. That's who's waiting for you on that beach, known as the university campus. Oh, there will be others who aren't as clear about their intentions. There will be others you meet who on the pro-life issue are not as blatant as saying, yeah, until you've got organized brain function, we can have at you. But you'll meet others who have bought the worldview that moral truth on the issue of abortion cannot be known. Before we moved from Los Angeles to Atlanta, I had my son Michael, who at the time was 5, at the park, and I was pushing him on the swing. And when Michael was between the ages of 4 and 6, if you kept him moving on the swing, he was a content camper for a very long time. You could text people as long as that swing was moving. Well, one day I had Michael at the swing, and a very well-dressed woman came and put her daughter at Northridge Park in Southern California right next to Michael in the swing. And she said to me the question I just hate getting. Well, what do you do for a living that you can come to the park in the middle of the day and be here while other dads are working? And I said, well, I do lectures on bioethics. Nobody ever asked me what that is. She says, oh, you talk about things like abortion? Yeah, I talk about abortion. And then she said this, I don't like abortion. I think it's bad, but I'm glad it's legal because I don't think I should impose my views on someone else. Very gently, I asked her a question. Do you mind if I ask why you're personally opposed to abortion? Because that's what she was telling me. I personally oppose abortion. I just don't want to impose my beliefs on others. So very gently I said to her, why are you personally opposed? Here was her comment. I'm personally opposed because everybody knows it kills a baby. I then said to her, can I repeat what you just told me? You personally oppose abortion because you say it kills a baby, but you want it to be legal to kill babies. And for about 20 seconds, there was stunned silence while she pushed her daughter on the swing. And to her credit, she said to me, you know, you're right. That is what I'm saying. And it doesn't sound pretty when you take the spin off it. She had bought the notion that when it comes to moral truth on an issue like abortion, we should no more claim that our view is true with a capital T than we should claim that our favorite flavor of ice cream is true with a capital T. That's the beach you're landing on, men and women.